Alrighty. Okay. Got the cards. We're ready to go. Let's just do a quick rundown. So today we're going to be doing yet another League of Infect for this month-long infection that we've decided to do. Again, I haven't really felt the need to change anything, mainboard or sideboard. I've thought about graveyard hate, but the graveyard decks that are running around are either faster than or don't care too much about. So that's why we're not running the graveyard hate. Other than that, as said before, the Three Veils and the Mystical Disputes are for the counter matchups or Jundish matchups where they're trying to kill our stuff with black-red spells. Spellskite has an additional way to redirect. The Goyfs is more for a swap package. If they can kill our X1s, well, they now have to kill a star, 1+ star. That's going to be hard for them to do. Weather the Storm is a way to just gain a bit more life for those matchups where we just need one more turn or two before we can kill them. The Dismembers is a way to deal with creatures, and the Force of Figures is a way to deal with artifacts. That's the sideboard. Mainboard, same old, same old. We got the 1/0 Spellskite main, the 4 Blighted Agents, the 4 Glistener Elves, the 4 Inkmoth Nexus as their threats, the Noble Hierarchs to help us on mana and Exalted, and then 3 Scale Ups, 1 Become Immense. That way we don't get blown out by something such as Chalice on 1 in game 1. And then just pump spells such as Mutagenic and as a way to get free. Blossoming Defense as a way to give our things hexproof and a bit of pump. Groundswell and Might of Old, so that way we can do that plus a +6 attack to get lethal. And then Vines as a way to do protection or protection and +4/+4. And we're running 2 Spell Pierce main, 2 Distortion Strike. Arguably it could be 1 Spell Pierce side, 1 Dismember main, but well, I've yet to want to do that change. Anyway, let's hop into a match of Infect. And here we go. Onwards to match 1. Sadly, we lost the die roll. It's keepable. But we're gonna mulligan once. And that's a beautiful, beautiful 6. Put Distortion Strike on bottom, say done. See what our opponent does. Snow-covered island to start us off. All right. And that is looking pretty for us. This way, if they are running removal, which I doubt, at least early game removal, we'll have out this Hierarch. Or we'll bait out removal with the Hierarch, I should specify. That was strictly incorrect. They fetch. Do they have Mana Leak? No, they get a Snow Covered 4. It could still be Mana Leak. It is. Well, that's fine. It's almost like we have an Inkmoth Nexus. We'll get in for 1. Sure, why not? This way they have to have Field of Ruin. Since they fetched for a Snow-Covered 4. And why do I have to be right? That's a fun one. one made it. You poor man. Do you have the force of negation? Has force of negation. I mean, we forced them to have it. Good old, probably soul tie. Not swinging into this. I'm assuming it's going to be an Ice Fang. A fetch for Water Grave. Okay, so it is definitely Soul Tie. Shocks in. Blue, blue, blue. Draw 2 with Archmage's Charm. I'm assuming. I always forget that's an option. Okay. Why would you do that there? I mean, we've lost this game. From the aspect of they're a control deck. I'm assuming they have counter spells in hand. They only have 2 cards in hand, but I'm assuming at least one of those is a counter spell. Or a Mystic Sanctuary to put a counter spell back on top. Yep. Okay. Pass through the turn. So they draw their Archmage's Charm. They've got Archmage's Charm and 2 unknown. So I'm waiting till we get enough. I'm assuming they're gonna try to steal our. Is this targeting our hierarch? One mana counterspell. Black, black, 1. Lily Last Hope. Upticks targets here. Make it a 2/3. They hold back. Pendlehaven, pass the turn. Although we can't even Pendlehaven our Noble Hierarch. And so at this point, we've basically lost. From the aspect of that'll continue to uptick. And they've got Mystic Sanctuary. Well, it's a 10-turn clock. 8-turn clock. We don't really have anything to stop it. Neat. Again, their clock is currently our Glistener Elf. That'll land. Say go. Let's just see more of this deck. Sorry, dogs are running around and I was seeing if I could see them. Up to 4. Show me counter magic. Well, this is going to be a fetch. Go get Mystic Sanctuary, put push back on top. Yep. They draw the push. They have push in hand. We do this just to make them use push. Would you look at that? So this will be 5 Infect counters. Because at this point, that's a Lily alt. And they get to hold up Lily. Disputes, yes. Veils, yes. You all right there, dog? Dog just ran into a piece of furniture. So we know we want those. Become a Mints can come out. They're not a Chalice style deck. Shave on a skill up. Shave on some vines. Shave like that. We know it's some Sultai control list. Nope. Sure. Bottom and Nexus. So we can lead off having Spell Pierce mana. Or Dispute mana. Fetch for taps Breeding Pool. Ink Moth, pass turn. They go a fetching. And gets their Triome. Snow Covered Island. So they have Codal mana or Mana Leak mana. Fetch for this Breeding Pool, shock it in. Blue 1, Blighted Agent. I'm gonna try to Mana Leak. Now hope that they don't have removal. Arguably we should have disputed there, because we could still Spell Pierce a Fatal Push. Just not this turn. Okay. There's a Misty. So land off the top here would be good. Not a land. Problem is they could have Codal. And we could dispute the Codal. Swing for 1. Cool. They fetch, probably get themselves a snow-covered island. Yep. That is 3 islands, and that is a Field of Ruin. Poppin' field now. I'm assuming you are. Because you're either doing field stuff or you're doing... Wow. Have the Force of Negation. Or second push. Boy, oh boy. Don't they just have it all? Three cards left in hand. A turn slow mana. And so we can only dispute a blue spell right now. Again, no threat's been presented from our opponent. I'd like to hold up more than just one counter magic at this point, because our counter magic is only against blue spells. So we just pass here. They take their redraw off of the lab. They get a Field of Ruin. That's a fun one. Again, don't really want to go swinging or using a Mystical Dispute here. Assuming opponents debating if they want to field us. And got rid of an Archmage's Charm from their hand. That's pretty good. They've only got 2 cards left in hand. Makes me wonder what they have. And get down this Glistener Elf. Pass the turn. And they field our pool. We will float blue, because this can get us green. Dead of Winter. Yep. Blighted Agent. Codal. Abrupt Decay. Or Assassin's Trophy. Yep. Have it all, opponent. Just have it all. We've had answers for almost everything that they've had too, and we can't dispute this because I'm out of mana. And then they get to bring Uro back, and we can't dispute. That's a neat Uro you have there, opponent. A Windswept Teeth, and we can, or a fetch land, and we can make this Uro kill us. We need exactly Blighted Agent off the top into a land, hoping opponent has no interaction. Yep, there's their redraw. God, I hate control. Like, at least this is a somewhat quote-unquote fair, because they haven't done any recurring with Mystic Sanctuary yet. Well, there's a Field of Ruin. Make him decide between having Field of Ruin or not. Second Field of Ruin. Okay, sure. So we get in for... Oh, they're at 27. We're not winning with this Arbor. Arbor's basically only on blocking duty at this point. So we don't die to the arrow. Push. I'm gonna make you use your field. Cool. At least I get mana out of this one. Opponent's left with one card in hand. Opponents finally possibly run out of steam. Problem is, we can't stop them. Arrow gets in. They go up to 30. They can play a land. Mind Sculptor Fate Seals us, I'm assuming. Brainstorms. Disagree with that plan. Definitely think this is supposed to be a turn where you Fate Seal me, because Pump Spell doesn't do it for me, land doesn't do it for me. I just think you Fate Seal twice. I could make this hierarch real big. But that's all we can do. I can't even make it big enough to trade. Neat. Opponent had literally everything. Like, no recurring with Mystic Sanctuary there, just add a Mana Leak, which we Spell Pierced, 2 pushes, an Archmage Charm, which we Mystical Disputed, an Abrupt Decay, 2 arrows, one of which we Mystical Disputed, and then drew all 4 pushes. Wow. Wow. I wish I could have opponent's luck. That is insane. Onwards to match number 2. Oh, it's F all. We're probably not winning. Deep Bottom of Vines. Lead off with Sandalhaven Glistener Elf. If I remember correctly, they're a Ponza, typically. Oh, they're on goblins. Okay. Scale up off the top. Sometimes you have the turn too. All right. So goblins, we want Dismember. These spell pierces are terrible. Other than that, and we don't know it's goblins. We know it's a red-black creature, which in current standards typically means goblins. So if they have the turn 3, but elsewise his hand's pretty good. We can draw our pump. Pet Shock Inquisition. Nazis. Okay. Takes the Hierarch. Makes sense. Makes sense. Just get our blue mana active in case. Bloodstained Mire, probably Blood Crypt, and shocks it in. Interesting. Black red munitions expert, more Marshall. Okay. So we go ahead and we play this down in case it's I guess we can second main. We could have played out the other Glistener Elf. But this is, we're holding up in case they have Blood Moon. Yeah. So they were fetching like they didn't. What does Matron reveal? Probably Snoop. tar fire. Okay. All right, opponent. I respect it. We'll go ahead and get a basic forest here. Just in case. Hold the mutagenics as long as we can. And so opponent probably doesn't want to be tar firing our elves at this point since we have out this ink moth now. And we need a mana. So they could still have munitions expert. That's an instant. It's out of range of anything at this point. I guess dismember. Take opponent to 9. Let's see what they got. Plague Engineer. Probably names Blink Moth here. Yep. Distortion Strike. One time. So they can now go snoop on our instep and to win the game on their turn. So dismember off the top does it. Distortion Strike does it. That's it though. Sling Gang. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're not dead to that. Unless he has a War Marshal off this vial. But now we're dead because we can't dismember. So we need exactly Distortion Strike off the top. Not enough. Okay. arguably we could bring in the spell skite, but I don't think we want to be removing anything. I would love to take the play. Hand's got gas, but no threat. Ouch. Having to keep 5 feels real bad. Hope they don't have a turn 1 Thoughtseize or a turn 1 Goblin, and hope we can hit a green source. Hope this is just turn 1 Vial. Starfire. I'll keep my Glisten Elf alive, thank you very much. Well, that was a very good Tarfire by them. Take opponent to 8. Distortion Strike off the top wins us the game, except we don't have blue mana. I'm assuming this is going to be red-black. Munitions Expert, yep. Pop the elf, yep. I knew when we had to go down to 5 and opponent kept 7. Ouch. Getting punished for not getting a breeding pool off this wooded foothills. I'm assuming Matron. Snoop. Okay. We get hit for 1. This one elf, pass turn. At this point, if they cast Bogart, we just concede. I'm assuming they have a Snoop or a... Unfortunate. I'm assuming that they have a Kiki Jiki in their library. They only had 3 cards in hand. I doubt that they were keeping... I mean, they might have drawn both. We technically should wait until we see Kiki on top. There he is. 3 trophies. It's been a while since he's trophied. So not a great start from us. And this is a terrible hand. We'll keep and bottom an agent since we don't have blue mana. Okay, Tron. Meaning we need a 4 mana pump spell off the... Well, we can't even become a mince. We don't have enough in the graveyard. And there's 2, and they crack this map. Or is it Chalice on 1? Okay, it's E-Tron. And we don't concede. But we know it's E-Tron. They crack map. And go and get their tower, play tower, and then probably matter reshaper. The tome. I wonder what the dog's barking at. Turn that one sideways. Arguably at this point I should have animated the ink moth nexus since we don't have pump. Take them to 3. Base scry. I liked whatever they saw on top. They now have 9 Eldrazi mana. Or 8 Ugin mana. We're not beating Chalice on 1 and Ballista. Force of Vigors can come in. Some number of Goyfs come in. The Commitments definitely stays in. Some number of elves come out. Might be a couple of elves, a couple of agents actually. They don't want to board out too many. There. Spell Pierce is kind of mediocre. Just from the aspect of we don't really want to be reactionary, we want to be on the attack. And take those out, bring these in. Of course I would like to play first. None of those cards were castable. Back those. Lead off with the foothills and pass the turn. And power plant in the map. Yeah, the fact that they kept 7 has me concerned here. Are we gonna stop barking? No, we're just gonna come and lick your foot for a second and then go back to barking. Why would we ever stop? Hi, other dog. You're the one that's not barking. I like you. This is 12? Hope they don't have Chalice on 1. So they could crack this for a piece. Or a temple. I feel temple's probably what they want to be doing here. Maybe opponent disconnected. That'd be unfortunate. Something happened to opponent. I've yet to get a disconnected message. But it's been 3 minutes since they were attacked with this Goyf. And so, I hope people are doing other things during this, because nobody wants to sit here and watch clock tick. What's the timeout on actions? It only took us forever. It's mine. Plays out said mine. Plays out map. And then a chalice on one. Because why wouldn't they have chalice on one? And get rid of that chalice. Oh, go or go if technically by one is what we're doing here. Goif is now a 4-5. Take opponent to 15. Now they go crack map, get tower, turn on. Tron, they have 5 mana. They play out Matter Reshaper. Turn our creatures sideways. Assuming, yep. Reshaper blocks the Goyf. Triggered ability reveals Spatial Contortion. Damn. Contortions the Ink Moth or contortions the Goyf. Both work. Not sure. Take a 1 mana CMC spell. Take scale up. Second thought not? Reality Smasher? What are we doing here, opponent? Either way, you ate 4 minutes of my time. Arn the Great Creator. Down tick, go get Liquid Metal, upkeep, hit our Ink Moth Nexus, I'm assuming. Spyglass. Fun. Does that, names Ink Moth Nexus. And then we have but we need to draw exactly Glistener Elf. Can't draw a Glistener Elf because Distortion Strike, it gets countered by Chalice. What a hit off their Matter Reshaper with that Contortion, man. Arn down ticks. If he goes gets Ballista, we concede. Because this is a Ballista for 10. Means X equals 5. We're not beating Ballista and Chalice. I mean, we'll play it out, but we're not beating this. Unless we draw exactly Force of Vigor right here. Nope. Mahalo, man. We are not doing too hot with Infect right now. Currently, we are 0-3. Didn't draw our answer to the Chalice on 1 in game 2. Okay. This is keepable. Ready for Fluffy tonight, Zale? Chalice on 1 was... Yep. That is the bane of an Infect player's existence. Oh, our 28 cards are now just dead in hand? Yeah, this is fine. We're fine. Don't worry about it. So, Flooded Strand. Okay, so either Blue-White Miracles or Bant Snow Control. There's a Delta. So they now have our worst feeling of mana leak. Cool, we didn't get mana leaked. And we've got a couple protection spells here. That's pretty good. Omen of the Sea. All right. Definitely makes me think miracles now. And so we can fetch for a breeding pool at the end of turn if we need it. Then we go +4, +4, +2, +2. If they play out something as a blocker, Distortion Strike. If they present green mana like they are here, it means we can go for the protection spell or the Distortion Strike. Windswept. Lead with the Distortion Strike. Try to land this Might of Old. And now that's game, right? Like if this gets to swing at 7. So this is 7. Next turn it's another 3. So we can just hold these back as protection spells. Sounds good to me. Every game ever was an infection. I played turn 1 Glistener Pass. Opponents laugh and says, Mag Theft the Hammer. That's pretty great. Yeah. Why are you not ready? I mean, you say meme, but like Boros Hammer is pretty great. So splashing the blue or splashing for the green isn't terrible. Rebound. Tap my team, draw a card. Okay. I mean, I still cast the card. Yeah, dude, there are so many farms. I believe it. You're enough of a memer and a brewer to do that. But yeah, no, I need to go take a look at one of the nether lava lakes to see if I can build a gold farm in that area. They do. We'll go ahead and crack this Waterlog Grove. Hey, there's a fun card. Swing for the hills. Opponent opts. Sure, I'll let you opt. They did not like the card with opt. They put it on bottom. Snapcaster Mage. Assuming gets opt. Yep. Yeah. Since we're not allowed to go above the nether, I need to find a massive nether lake. Yeah. I mean, that's what the gold farm is, too. Yeah, there are a couple, but I don't know which ones are great for us. Is this snap just going on blocking duty? It is. How funny. Play out this blighted agent and pass the turn. That's a nice path, opponent. I'd like to say no. Has snap. What, you snap path my Glistener Elf? Okay. They grab the path. What are they targeting here? It's either the Glistener Elf or it's the Hierarch. Okay, they get the Glistener Elf. Yes, get this forest. Take opponent to 9. Let's see if we can get there. That indeed is a terminus. Not like it matters. We're going to go shuffling here in a second with one of these wooded foothills. Keyword is 1 because there's only one fetchable left in the deck, being a creature. Swing with the Dryad Arbor. We'll get there via normal damage. Why not? Never thought Infect could flood out. Big Teferi. What do you mean? No, you want to tuck this Dryad Arbor. You know you want to when we have 2 fetch lands. That's the correct play. Well, there's a scale up. Which, funnily enough, we go ahead and cast on this Dryad Arbor. To see if this Dryad Arbor can take out this Teferi. As a snap blocker. That's fine. Still forcing you to block. Mystic Sanctuary puts what? Terminus on top? Cryptic. Okay, so they'll now have the soft lock because they can counter, bounce, draw every single turn. We need exactly another scale up here. Well, no, because they have Cryptic. But now they don't have Cryptic. I don't understand. Oh, because they untap 2 lands, so they'll have cryptic mana now. At which point they then go, yeah. I realized as soon as what was happening. Now, granted, that still I should notice that beforehand. At this point, we lose, right? Because they can go bounce, draw a card. Why let me counter your cryptic command? Archmages, they draw 2. So we've got 2 turns before they just start exiling all of our mana producing lands. And 6 in hand. We are not getting out of this, and we're behind on clock. We'll go ahead and concede. There's nothing we can draw at this point that'll get us out. Okay. Counter deck. Disputes come in, Veils come in. Arguably, we could bring in a Spellskite, but I really only have snaps as blockers, so we can board out Distortion Strikes. Shave on a Scale Up, Shave of Vines, and a Become Immense. They don't run Chalice. Keeping the 1 Spellskite in case they have Path. Okay. This is a very keepable amount. Bottom the Vines. Lead off with a Misty Rainforest and pass the turn. Crack that for a Breeding Pool, put it into play tapped. We do not play out this Blighted Agent. Strictly from the fact of, well, what's the worst they could have? Pav? And that ramps us? Like, I guess Spell Snare, technically. So yeah, they got rid of our Blighted Agent. We still have this Inkmoth Nexus. And we have +8 in hand. I just need 1 more mana. This one will work. For now, just as it gives another threat to the battlefield. Hold up this Dispute because they could have 3 mana to Fairy next turn. Omen, they scry and draw. They put both on top, then drew. Okay. What's the worst case scenario? Yeah. So worst case scenario is we go Might of Old Krosa, Mutagenic, give it +6, hit them for 7. And then if they try to counter magic, if it's blue, we have Mystical Dispute. If it's Path, we have Blossoming Defense to 9 them. I mean, there's what? Mana Tithe? That's a white counter magic card. Hit opponent for 7. They opt. Put the card on bottom and then drew. Would you look at that? There's the Path. Blossoming Defense. Force of Negation. Come on. I guess if opponent's gonna have it all. His 6 Sanctuary puts Path back on top. Sure. And there's the card that we've been holding up this Mystical Dispute for this entire time. Very useful now that we're tapped out of blue. Surprise, surprise. The control player is probably going to win. Because recurring things and free things are fair magic. Counts as Blighted Agent. Opt. Play out both of those and pass the turn. It's only free it's free every time that they want to be using it. Let's be fair. You're not wrong. It is only free during our turn. But when do you want to be playing counter magic on your own turn unless it's to keep your thing alive? Yes, but that's a combo. That's not a control list. But you are right. Combo players want to do it. Control. Pretty much. So we could kill 3 fairy here. That's just about our only line of play. Get that out so we can have up dispute. Let's just ignore Teferi. Let me cast this Mystical Dispute. Hmm. They really printed a lot of fair and balanced cards in 2019, didn't they, man? Like, just, you can play at instant speed, your opponents can't. You can play cards for, you can counter things for free. You can return things from the, no, there's nothing wrong with Force of Negation. That card's completely fair. I'm mainly upset at Mystic Sanctuary and Time Raveler. But Force of Negation's fine. Most of the time. If Sanctuary wasn't fetchable, I would agree. The fact that Mystic Sanctuary in and of itself is an island, meaning that you can go and fetch it after you've got the setup. True. They go and scry too. I have a path in hand, right? Yep. So we're never winning. Sure. But let's see. Choke is green. Boil, Moon are both red. And Ghost Quarter and Field, you have to be able to fit into your deck. So while yes, there is a lot of reaction to a land, it requires a certain archetype. Counter Magic's so good when we can only play at sorcery speed. Like, out of all of the War of the Spark planeswalkers, how many see lots of eternal play? We have Time Raveler, we have Karn, we have Ashiok in sideboards occasionally. Are there any others? Narset. Kaya. I thought Kaya was Ravnica Allegiance. Okay. Yeah, that is true. Ugin as well. Man, look at this counter magic doing absolute nothing. They fetch probably for a Mystic Sanctuary. Oh, they get a Hallowed Fountain. Interesting. If I was them, I would have gone Mystic Sanctuary, put Aether Gust back on top. Yeah. I mean, the Saheeli was mainly played as another Psy. Well, there's a Jace. Yeah, I was gonna say at that point. And they're bouncing our Dryad Arbor. Back to Floata Green. Dryad Arbor gets bounced. And they have up the white for the path that they have in hand. They don't swing with Snapcaster. Reactions only. God, I hate, absolutely hate how much Teferi just destroys this deck. Because every line that I'm seeing is like, oh yeah, I can do this, and then I can do this in response when they do something, but no. I'm stuck at sorcery speed, so we get to animate, then we can try to land a vines, at which point they path. So they draw 3, put back 1, and they brainstorm with Jace. They down tick our Dryad Arbor. Can they? Yes, they can. So they down tick our Dryad Arbor to put it back into our hand. Hit us for 2. Apparently they just want to keep upticking with this Time Raveler. I really don't think that's what you want to be doing at this point. Well, there are now no more fetchables in the deck. So if we shock this in, like, we know that they probably have counter magic and path, and we know that they have path in hand, I believe. I can assume that they have counter magic. That has to enter tapped because we're so low. As we animate, we try to groundswell, they kill it. Since we're stuck at sorcery speed. Flusterstorm. Okay. So we could pay for it. But then we'd be tapping out of our creatures. So now we could groundswell, get rid of Jace. Except for the fact that we know that they have. I mean, let's just draw another. Let's use this draw while we can. And fun. Omen, flash omen. Cool. 0 and 4. So, hand's got a turn 2 in it. And multiple threats if they have hand disruption. Bobble. Amber. Hudson Meyer fetches. Let me guess. Into Fetch Shock, and now we're going to see Emery. Yep. And no longer turn 2s because they have Emery. And a Pyrite Spell Bomb. They don't have red to activate it currently. They want to see what we're drawing. They get to. We're drawing a forest. And play out the Glistener Elf. So it looks like we're facing good old grinds, or not. What's the Mill 3 Underworld Breach combo? And does this so they can crack their Spell Bomb on red. Inquisitions us. Feels bad. They take one of these two. Probably this one. Replays Amber, keeps the untapped Amber, and then can sacrifice, add red, buying themselves a card, and blowing up our Glistener Elf. At which point we know that they can do the recurrence at least once now. Well, no, they no longer have a way to make a red. Play down this Blighted Agent and pass the turn. They draw to 3. What is the artifact? I know it's Underworld Breach is the enchantment. Why can't I think of the name of the artifact? Because it's tap, sacrifice an artifact. This card mills 3 to target player. Whenever you cast an artifact, untap this card. Just can't think of the card's name off the top of my head. I own one in paper. Cycles the Unearth. Interesting. Pump spell off the top. Endlehaven. So 2, 6, 8. Makes it so they have to kill us here. They fetch. Sorry, steam vents tapped. We'll take it to 8. Present lethal next turn. Opponent needs to kill us here. And 4 color. And Luris. Okay. Pops our Blighted Agent. Plays out a Bobble. Okay, opponent, kill us here. Grinding Station. That's the name of the card. And at this point, it's... No, it's not deterministic. They still need... They need an Underworld Breach. If they cast an Underworld Breach, this is deterministic. And there's the Underworld Breach. Make sure they cast it. And we have reached deterministic. Go ahead and concede. Because they've got enough 0 mana artifacts in there. So they recur, they untap, they tap for a mana, they sack it, they build themselves 3. They do this forever until they get to no cards left in library. And then they Thassa's Oracle us. Okay. Nothing we really want. Well, Force of Vigor. Do that submission real quick. Just so we get the Force of Vigors. Scale up, Blighted Agent. Yep. I would indeed like to play first. Turn 1, turn 2. Possible turn 3 kill. No, honestly, it's possible for a turn 2 kill here. With a Might of Old or a second Groundswell if they don't have a turn 1 blocker. Cracks the Delta, goes and grabs, Watery Grave, shocks it in. Let me guess, Thoughtseize? Or Inquisition? Yep. Probably takes either Groundswell or Blighted Agent here. He takes the Agent, makes sense. Pump spell off the top for 4. Take opponent to 5 poison counters, have them dead next turn if they don't have a blocker or more hand disruption. Bloodstained Mire fetches. Gets a snow-covered mountain. Astrolabe draws a card. Draw. That's a fun draw. Oop. All right. Spell pierces are fine. Yeah. Snap this hand off. 2 agents, a hierarch, a misty rainforest to go grab a breeding pool. Like distortion strikes, kind of meh, but makes it so if their turn 1's a Thoughtseize. Okay, that's a star. Bobble. Cracks Bobble. Sees what we're drawing. There's a Misty. We'll crack and shock. Get this hierarch down and pass the turn. Now we just need to fill our yard for this Becomements. So that, and then Emery, yep. Mills 3 and then has 2 mana available to them. It's an Underworld Breach. Not good for us. And there's a Grinding Station, which kind of sort of tells us they are planning to win next turn. Play out a Blighted Agent and pass the turn. And counter this Underworld Breach that they're going to try to land. But they can pay. Not if it's a 3 mana thing. Luris, yeah. Blue cracks for that. Draws. Taps Grinding Station to sack Amber to mill themselves 3. Replays this Amber. Yeah. They can untap this Grinding Station. Now they can try to land an Underworld Breach here. Assuming it's what they're going to try. Engineered explosives on 2. Nah. Not a fan of that. They can get a bobble back. So what do we need? Fetch lane's not enough to fuel become immense. Does this fetch that kick for 4? Then we have 4 in yard. We beat Grinding Breach. That's a fun deck. That's a fun matchup. But man, was this league bad. Huzzah! Exactly. Infect is not looking too hot at the moment. The last couple of leagues have been 3-2s at best.